Oh, man, it started raining here a few minutes ago, but it seems like it already stopped. I thought I was going to have some cool ambient noise going on in my recording.
Oh, it's been raining here for a while.
Yeah. Put your mic next to the window.
Dry as can be here.
It's connected to this arm. That would be tough.
I want to hear the pitter patter.
Mm-hmm. It can replicate it.
I'm good.
Oh, well, the recording will pick it up, but it's not going to get picked up in Discord.
Gotcha.
I mean, this part of the game, I guess you could really actually do have an ambient rain background for where we're about to go.
Because it's dreary and dank.
I put a whole optional ASMR section in my recording for you, Fonz, if you want to use it.
Oh, great. Just put it on a loop in the background.
Just some tapping. No, maybe you could hear it if I talk a little bit over it. It's like some basic gentle tapping on something, just chilling.
Oh man, it's like late night TikTok.
Be like, yeah, welcome to the A for No, B for Yes podcast ASMR episode. If you make it through, let us know.
Oh my goodness. You know the McElroy brothers? My brother and me, they once had it was like a Casper mattress sponsored episode, and they did it all in whisper voice as their ASMR episode.
Dude, I'd be down to do that sometime. Have it be probably a shorter episode, but just do it all yeah. It'd be tough to control the laughing.
This is our ASMR.
Be all wheeze laughing.
A for No, B for Yes, Season 3. We're going to be doing Breath of the Wild.
Ignore the coughing.
There won't be coughing.
And then you snap out of it and you're like, we're about to record. We need the energy.
For this one, subtlety and calmness are out the window.
That's right. This is the misery mire.
It's different than the swamp. It's the mire.
We're about to get miserable up in this mire.
Come on down to MIREFEST.
MIREFEST 22.
Got all the misery you could ever want.
RSVP now. Tickets are going fast.
A4NB4Y listeners. Woo! We just got done beating the Ice Palace and Cold Stare on our last episode. And now we are going to venture into probably one of my favorite landscapes of this game, the Misery Mire. My name is Anthony, and my two co-hosts, as always.
I'm Ryan Fonzie, and I'm feeling righteous, dude.
And I'm Cameron Hagee, and my leg!
Nice, I love that guy.
You okay? Oh, goodness. Yeah, Misery Mire. Actually, you know what? Before we go to Misery Mire, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. I mind.
So last time we got done with that Ice Palace, and we talked a little bit about the maiden. I actually posted right up in the chat the actual full on quote that I didn't have and that we like randomly paraphrased and went over slightly. There's a whole other part to that, to what she shared with us, and I feel like we kind of missed it. And it's actually interesting from a lore perspective. But after, we learn about the whole like mixing the courage of the knights and the wisdom of the wise and all of that. One of the things that gets shared is that, aside from, basically the time is running short phrase of there's only a short time remains until the gate of the castle linking the worlds opens completely. There's then this other statement that says, if you defeat Ganon, this world will vanish and the Triforce will wait for a new holder. Which to me is interesting because, this world used to be the Golden Land and then it got transformed into the Dark World. And apparently now if we defeat Ganon, the Dark World doesn't go back to the Golden World or the Golden Land. It just vanishes. I don't know how that works. Seems a little extreme. I'm guessing everybody would end up getting either shunned back to the light world or just straight up vanish with it. One of those seems better than the other.
Little bit.
Little bit. So hoping that's the plan, but it's just a little bit of a drop there that I feel like, was worth some brain space. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
I feel like everybody's going to come back to the light world and be happy, but there's going to be that one guy that there's like a bush or something right where he was supposed to go back, and he's just going to be in this infinite loop of trying to come back.
He's going to get banished to the gap between dimensions. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Aside from him, though, and hopefully he's a bad guy, but
aside from him, everyone else gets a happy ending.
Yeah.
Except Jimothy.
Yeah.
The Bushman.
Till someone cuts down that bush, and he just pops up out of nowhere.
That's what he gets for hanging around bushes.
Well, they'll be like those guards that are chilling in bushes. You hit the bush, and there's just a full guard there that was bigger than the bush that you destroyed to reveal him. It'll be like that. They'll be like, Jimmy, it's been 5 years you're hiding in the bush. What have you been doing?
I was drinking my coffee,
It's like, it's way worse than you think. I wasn't hiding. Now I'm like picturing every time we cut a bush and the knight is like under it, them just like gasping for air, like they just got out of like a year-long free fall and the gap between them.
They're just in like complete shock, so they attack you right away.
That's all they had was their sword as they were in the void.
I sat through time. I watched it pass before my eyes, but I was not allowed to participate.
Oh my goodness.
Poor Jimmy.
But yeah, our next mission, or at least according to our map, our next place to go is the Misery Mire. So we head on over to the desert area.
Except it's not as easy as just heading on over to the desert area.
No, not at all. I mean, you could go there and go to the desert and then be like, how do I...
There's really only one way to get to the place we need to get to in the desert.
Uh-huh.
So if you haven't got your birdie yet, get your birdie.
I cannot imagine getting this far into the game having not figured out the weather vane.
Yeah, getting progress blocked by this and so confused as to what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been a nightmare.
If you thought that the gargoyle was trouble.
There's no indicators at all as to where the bird drops you off. It just kind of drops you. I mean, it's always in the same place, but there's nothing there. So even if you did get this far, you would have no sign or tell anywhere that that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
You would just have to meander around till you stumbled upon it.
Yeah. I do not know what hints are even in the game for that. But I know that what we need to do is fly over up onto a cliffside, because that's where the bird drops you off. It's up on a cliff you can't normally get to. And then you have to lift up a heavy rock, and then there's a warp pad underneath that heavy rock that'll take you over to the dark world. Where in the light world we have an entire desert. In the dark world we have another swamp, but it actually looks like a swamp this time. It is apparently the mire. So
of
it's
misery.
A really cool landscape perspective too. As we get here, they actually have rain and lightning coming down, and the set pieces are really cool. You got these overgrown trees and like little caves to go into, and Arguably, I think it's one of the, well, besides the Skull Rock, it's one of the most designed Dark World places you can go.
Yeah, it's definitely its own unique biome. Like if you go down there, there's like enemies that come out of the water at you and stuff like that. And not that they are always aimed super well, like they weren't hard to avoid, but it was very unique. And if you already know where you're headed, it doesn't last very long.
No.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it would be easy to kind of just wander around and get lost in that mire, but
There's a few things to do that like bide your time before you actually go into the dungeon. A few heart pieces and stuff, but yeah, there's not really much there.
yeah, I usually don't explore this.
It's cool that it's its own little place too, with its own weather cut off from like the rest of the map, and it feels that way the way you have to get there by riding the bird to the top spot you can't get to otherwise, and then taking a portal there.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels disconnected from everything.
Yeah. I mean,
What a miserable state.
I was gonna say, did it feel miserable to you guys?
It actually made me kind of happy. Happy mire.
I frolicked. I'm not gonna lie.
Frolicked a little through the marsh, the mire.
I'm a big fan of frog bit, so it was a good time.
Frog bit.
It's like the little green leafy plant that's all over swamps.
Mm.
Like not quite lily pads. They're a lot smaller and they just kind of stick to everything. If you look up images of frog bit, you will not be disappointed. Like you'll know what I'm talking about.
I feel like I do.
Used to have it in our fish tank, but it gets caught in the filter. It's a nightmare.
Ugh.
Ew.
Man, this place is just full of gross stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't last super long because we just go inside the town. Well, we don't just go inside. I mean,
We don't just go. One does not simply just go inside Misery Mire.
you may have figured out the bird.
But do you have the emblem?
Link basically becomes Thor, channels his Norse god, and eliminates all the lightning in the surrounding area and the rain by sucking it all up into himself and becoming one, and then shaking the earth itself into revealing the underground temple of Misery Mire.
He absorbed the spirit bomb?
Yeah.
Was he Super Saiyan?
You could argue he's definitely Super Saiyan in this dungeon.
He channeled the ether and used his ether medallion
To open the path.
Yeah, to alter the world around him and open the temple. Isn't it like a big head-shaped entrance again, and it comes up out of the water?
It's like a plant.
Yeah, the top of the
It's
plant,
like a plant doorway.
just pops up. Kind of as Majora's Mask vibes in the swamp temple there, where it kind of rises out of the swamp.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't consider that, but yeah, no, I agree.
And these temples rising out of swamps, and we get inside, and I told you the grossness does not stop there. I mean, once we get inside, there's jellies trying to come at you. The walls are oozing slime on the sides. Everything's green. There's slime monsters everywhere. It's
And slinging slashers chilling in the corner.
yeah, they're slinging their slashes with their little hats.
It's raining flubber in the one room.
Yeah.
Flubber.
There's a room in there where they just slimes are falling from the ceiling, and they just don't stop. It's like the wall masters back in the forest dungeon. They're just
Slimes everywhere.
The longer you stay there, the more slimes you have to fight.
Nintendo called Nickelodeon for this episode and was like, "Hey, we need some slime. We need it now. Help us." Actually, I think this game came before Nickelodeon.
In the pre-Nickelodeon era.
This was the first time in slime.
The land before the Lodian.
Yeah, did like this dungeon feel like a gauntlet kind of to you guys? Like it wasn't really that much of a puzzle as it was just try to make it to the end.
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. I went back and rewatched my playthrough of this because that's kind of just the rhythm I'm in right now, where I'm usually playing ahead and then I have to go back to the old streams and rewatch. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have remembered anything about this dungeon. It is the blandest, I think, of the Dark World dungeons.
Yeah.
And I think there's two things, like there's two puzzles that I actually distinctly remember. and one of them is just a falling floor that you have to dash away from. And the other one is some blocks that you have to move the right way, but it's the same puzzle 4 times over. And and that's about it.
Yeah, I actually thought my game froze there. Are you talking about like where you move the rocks to set the fire and then it shakes your screen?
Yeah.
I thought it did too.
My game froze. I was sitting there like, okay.
There's a telepath tile in the next room down. And it's like, oh, you have to light the 4 torches. I'm like, I do know that already, but I did mess up the block. So I was over there trying to get the blocks to reset and they wouldn't. I had to like completely leave the floor itself and like make my way back up to do it. But he was like, you got to light these 4 torches. I'm like, okay. So then when I finally got it reset and I lit the 4 torches, the whole temple rumbles for a ridiculously long amount of time. It's like with the sound and everything, it's just like, and it's like you're sitting there and you're like, okay. 10 seconds later, you're like, are we there yet? Because you don't even see what's happening. You just hear it. The game just wants to make it very obvious. Something happened.
Yeah.
But it's funny. You go back to that same room with the tile and suddenly the room is like 8 times as wide as it was before because it used to just be a hallway. Yeah, that was a memorable moment. But only after rewatching it.
The only other thing I think stuck out to me was when you go to the right side of the map from the beginning, there's that long hallway you kind of have to dash down because it Indiana Jones styles, like shoots lasers out of the wall as the floor is falling. And then you get to the end of it and it's like, woo, you get a big item. And then it wasn't really that great of an item.
Yeah.
I actually went that way first. I went to the right. Yeah, like half these dungeons, the general way I tackle them is like how you solve a maze where you just stick to the right. Yeah. And a lot of the simple ones, I'll just keep going in the room that's to the right and work up the wall. And then I just know that I've checked off boxes I remember when I have to go back. And this time I was like, oh, look, a big chest in like the second or third room I entered in this dungeon. Right. I know where I got to backtrack to later.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Get to the chest before you even have the key. And it's like, all right, well, later, I guess.
I did most of the left stuff before I even went that way.
I thought it was funny that when I first got into that room, I tried to go down and around the path, and then the floor started falling, and I was like, oh, I guess I need to hook shot across first and then do it. So I had to leave, come back in, just try again, and then I finally got it, and it was like, oh, it's a big chest. All right. Great.
Wait, you used the hook shot to get through
that? Yeah, to get over to the walkway.
Yeah,
I didn't do that.
There's a block there. The first time I went into the room, I just started walking casually, like over to the path upward, and the floor started falling before I even got to it. So I couldn't actually get on the floor, and I was like, "Oh, like that's not gonna work." So I got.
If you're really tight with it, you can walk down, turn, use the boot, stop before you hit the wall, and get up there to start running before it falls by like half a second.
Yeah, that because it didn't work the first time. My second attempt strategy was to just run in, hook shot across that block, and then start running upward.
Yeah.
And
that's probably the better way.
Yeah, I was way ahead of the floor when I did that.
Because I felt like I was cutting it really close. I'm like, they got some, like they're making people try for this. But nah, I just missed the obvious block, I guess. I didn't even realize there was a block there. It didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of the level where you use the block to hook shot across because all the slimes come down. You're like, oh no, slimes.
Slime.
Yeah.
You run on some railroad tracks. That's kind of interesting.
Very Indiana Jonesy.
Yeah.
There's a path that you run across in order to get to the big chest, I think. And while you're running across it, you see 2 sets of the railroad tracks, but you can only get to one relatively easy and soon, and the other one comes in later. Isn't there a small key in that chest?
Wood bridges and stuff. Yeah. It's all.
There's a lot of small keys in this dungeon. I had 2 I think 2 different times.
The place was very labyrinthian. Like it was very there was a lot of loops and like choose your direction and stuff like that. Like there were ways where I was like, oh, I'll check, the upward path first, and it ended up taking me on this huge roundabout path. And finally I got to a point where I'm like, I need to actually look at my map and figure out what rooms I haven't been to yet. And they weren't even rooms that were blocked off. They were just rooms that I hadn't ventured that way yet.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a common thing in this place was, you ended up kind of turned around and you had to pull out your map to figure out, okay, how do I get to these rooms I haven't been to yet? Because it's not even that they're gated. Yeah. It's just that, there
were just so many branching paths off each room that when you get into one, you can only go through one, and then you got to go through another, and then you've already left behind like 7 other optional paths you got to go back and check.
Right. Yeah.
That's the tough part.
They're really
you miss
generous.
One of those rooms, you might miss something.
They're really generous with health, though. I mean, if you come into this place with some magic powder, I think towards the middle of the dungeon, if I'm not mistaken, like almost every room has an anti-fairy in it almost.
Yeah. There's a lot of anti-fairies in this dungeon, and I was loving it.
To the point where if you didn't know the trick, it would have been a nightmare. But if you do know the trick, it's like, why? Why are there so many of these? It's great. Because I mean, most anti-fairy, you could just leave the room, come back in, and they'll respawn. Yeah. Even if the other enemies in the room don't, like the anti-fairies tend to come back. It's kind of fun. Even
if you use the power or the powder on them, I feel like that shouldn't happen. It would be more balanced if it took them a while to respawn after you use powder to turn them into a fairy. But whatever, I'm not complaining. I walked in with 0 fairies and I left with like a potential 35, but I could only hold 3. But every time I was missing like 2 hearts, I'm like, I'll fairy up. Might as well.
Yeah. So the main item we get in this place is the Cane of Somaria, which sounds a lot like the Cane of Sumeria. For some reason.
I said Somaria, like Maria.
Somaria.
Like, oh my god, that cane is so Maria.
Maria, this cane was made for you. It's so Maria. No, I think the canes are supposed to be like another like a nod to Egyptian, like mythology, culture, legends. Like it's not like I don't even know what it's like. It's like a staff, kind of with the hook on the top.
I think this is the staff of Snormaria.
Okay, well,
even this dungeon doesn't even have to use it much.
Listen, it makes blocks, okay?
The only thing I thought of when I got this cane was like, I got 2 now. Now I have crutches, and Link can now walk around with crutches in case I get my broken ankle.
1 cane in each hand, 1 for the blocks and 1 for the blocks.
Yeah. We're doing Minecraft over here.
You got the fire rod, too. I'm thinking you, like, blast some fire and put a block up to defend yourself, and then peek around it, blast some fire, put a block up.
Bam, bam, bam. But what kind of block, though? Are you blocking or are you blocking?
We creating the block Minecraft style.
So we're not blocking.
The Minecraft style block doesn't actually protect you from a whole lot, though.
Darn it.
It will sit on a switch for you, though.
It will sit, yeah.
I think it's the one time we need it.
It's less creepy than the one in Majora's Mask. The Eulogy of Emptiness.
That was the worst part of that game. Anyway, let's stick to Misery Mire. Being miserable. I'm so miserable.
That sounds a lot like Majora's Mask.
They should have actually named this dungeon Bore Mire or Snore Mire or something Lazy Mire. Because
Snore Mire.
It was just like, you could tell our energy level coming into this is just, so, there was this part and there's the walls. They're green. That's cool. Like we're reaching for everything.
Should have called it the doldrums.
Mosey on through the mire. The mundane mire. Am I right?
The mundane mire. There's not much to highlight here. There's not really.
The melancholic mire.
Melancholic.
All right. Melancholic.
Having the attributes of melancholy.
I mean, listen, I've never read it anywhere. I've never heard anybody say it, so I can't.
You've never heard the word melancholic used? Oh, that's crazy.
I've heard melons, and I've heard colics, and I've heard melancholy.
I've heard melancholy. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, it's when you describe something that is in the state of melancholy, it's melancholic. Yeah.
Oh. There's melancholiac.
What is that?
Which is someone subject to melancholia.
What
is that? What's melancholia?
This is 3rd grade, SpongeBob.
Wombo.
Yeah, melancholiac is someone subject to melancholia, which is, if we look melancholia up, that's, hold on, definition.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know if we need to look up every conjugation of the word melancholy.
We might as well look up the definition of the word digression as well.
Oh, Melancholia is also a movie in 2011 starring Kristen Dunst and Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, those ones.
Skarsgård?
Skarsgård.
Alexander Skarsgård?
Wow.
You guard against scars?
I've never heard of that movie.
I mean, it got a pretty good rating. 7.1, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Now, is that better or worse than Elizabethtown, also starring Kirsten Dunst?
I don't know.
Still a better love story than Twilight. Couldn't resist.
Ooh, that did really bad.
Elizabethtown or Twilight?
Both.
Oh, I thought Elizabethtown was all right.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes would not agree with you.
All right, so are we ready to talk about the boss?
What, you mean more eyeballs?
Yeah, let's talk about the boss.
Because the dark room isn't really like, there's like a whole gauntlet of dark rooms that I'm just not interested in.
Can I say how much I hate dark rooms in this game?
Why?
Like if the Ice Palace had this many dark rooms, I would have hated the Ice Palace even more than I do. They decided to put him in this dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense considering what the boss is. Because, I mean, guys, like, subtlety is left to chat. Like, I don't think there's any argument. I mean, if you go down here, the boss's name is Vitreous, and it's just a pile of eyeballs.
Yep.
And
it's a lot of eyeballs.
A lot of eyeballs. Its weak spot is the eyeball. Its attack move is eyeball.
And lightning.
And lightning. It can look real hard at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the eyeballs are decorative. Like, this guy's like, I don't have enough eyeballs in my room. I'm going to need, like, some tiles on the ground to be eyeballs or something. We just got to up the amount of eyeballs.
And when I got him out of his second phase, there were still 4 eyeballs just chilling in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the decorative ones.
They just watched the fight after that.
Yeah, they're not really there.
All right.
And there's just a goopy gooperton of slime goop just chilling all over the ground. And
I didn't even use the Cane of Burna for this fight because it was just the tap B to win. Like, you just stood there.
This was easy.
And swing your sword, and the eyeballs will just run themselves into your blade. Like, that's kind of...
I didn't swing my sword once.
What did you do?
Arrows?
Arrows.
Yeah.
I use nothing but arrows. And as soon as you get into the second phase and he starts doing, I don't even remember what he tried to do, because as soon as he tried to do anything, I just unloaded all the arrows I could at him. He just got hit all the way back to the wall in a constant damage animation as I spam my button, and then he died. It was basically freebie.
You pincushioned the poor man.
I did.
Just
First phase probably would have been easier with the sword, because I got hit by lightning a lot trying to hit those eyeballs with arrows. But as soon as second phase started, I just destroyed this thing.
Yeah, I mean, the lightning was his best move. I did get hit by that a couple times, even doing the sword thing. But the eyeballs that he sent were foolish. They would just bounce forward, get hit, and it's like they just take damage and then retreat. And I'm like, all right, I'll just do this. And then I get hit by lightning and be like, what was that? Oh, I'll back to slashing eyeballs. Like, that was the loop.
Yeah, he doesn't even do the lightning that much.
And did you guys notice when he jumps out of the slime in the second phase, he still has like the fluid is just soaked into his eye so much that when he jumps out of it, the top half of him is white, but then he still has that like sludge under him when he's jumping up. And it was so gross. It's like he's been there for so long that it's just absorbed the disgusting vitreous fluid.
He's fermenting.
That fluid probably came from him.
Well, yeah, but it's just been sitting there for so long, just melting in it.
Ugh.
Can't imagine if you had brought the professor from Ocarina of Time here. You'd been so excited.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
I'm eating vitreous tonight.
Give me them eyeballs, those frog eyeballs.
I bet I could fill my aquarium with this.
But yeah, so his name stems from, obviously, vitreous, but the vitreous humor and vitreous fluid, which the vitreous fluid, I put a picture up in general chat. If any of our viewers can stomach looking at the inside of an eyeball, the inside of an eyeball has a gel-like fluid in it, which is called the vitreous humor or vitreous fluid, and it's disgusting looking.
Yeah, so the word vitreous itself, I guess, tends to mean something that has a glassy appearance to it, kind of like transparent but reflective in a way. And so it also it's also given to that name, that part of the eyeball, because it's a glassy looking fluid that is within your eyeball. So he's just named after eyes, even though, I mean, they didn't even have to do that because look at him. He's just a puddle full of eyes. It's like, yeah, no, vision, man. I mean, arguably, this is the most obviously like not meant for combat boss that we've come across yet. Like this is just like
yeah, he's really easy.
Like he's all weak spots. Like he's all like everything about him is like vulnerable, and yet he throws eyeballs at you, and the fight is so easy. It really seems out of place. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Them eyeballs though, they got some poise. In fact, you could say that his little eye children have more poise than he has. Because when you hit them, they really don't move much, but then you hit him with an arrow and he's like, and he like flies backwards.
Super dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't use arrows, so I don't know about all that, but I believe you.
And he also can only apparently look straight and shoot lightning straight.
Well, he can't look at you in the corner of the room.
He never shoots lightning to the corners of the room. It's only in the middle. Can only shoot straight. He's a straight shooter.
Wow. Sometimes I wonder if these things were meant to just be lookouts. Like, look out for Link. If he comes by, let me know.
Don't attempt to fight him.
Don't attempt to fight him. It's like, I could take him. You're a pile of eyeballs. Do not engage. It's like, I got this.
I got this, boss.
Goodness. So yeah, we defeat Vitreous. We save our what is this? Number 6? Sixth maiden? We're almost done. We're almost done getting the seven maidens free. But this one, I actually put the whole quote in so we can just read it this time. She says, Link, because of you, I can escape from the clutches of the evil monster. They all say that. Let me find something unique. All right. Ganon captured us because he couldn't break the seal of the wise men with his power alone. And then, using the wizard Aghanim as his pawn, he drew us to the Dark World. After cracking the seal with our powers, he sealed us inside of these crystals. He then gave us to his loyal monsters. But Ganon didn't plan on your getting this far. Now Princess Zelda is waiting for you inside of Turtle Rock. Please hurry. So, I mean, just kind of a recap there. I mean, I feel like we already knew most of this.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, Aghanim is Ganon's pawn. That's not huge news. We kind of figured they were working together. Calling him his pawn seems like there's a bigger power difference than you might think. You'd think Aghanim would be like his knight, or something like that, or his assistant. No, it's his pawn. And then I guess they already cracked the seal. Like, it's not that they're trying to get the power to remove the seal. It's like they had to start by doing some kind of damage to it, I guess, which is kind of an interesting concept. Maybe that's how Aghanim was able to get back and forth between the worlds, but Ganon wasn't, because they just cracked the seal. I don't know. But then, yeah, all the maidens were distributed to the different loyal monsters, which I guess Blind is a part of that crew too. He's a loyal monster at this point. So
yeah,
we already talked about him and how like he didn't start out as a monster, but
he became one.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing here is Princess Zelda's in Turtle Rock, so that's where we're gonna go next. But I mean that's just like the biggest mission statement here. The rest is mostly serves as a recap. I feel like there's not really a whole lot of new information here, but
we learned this Ganon's weak Ganon.
Think so?
Compared to all the other Ganons. I mean, come on now. He couldn't even break the seal of the wise
men.
One
teeny little seal?
Come on now. Ganon from Ocarina of Time would shrug at this Ganon. Shrug him off.
I mean, Ocarina of Time, Ganon also got sealed. I mean, that did happen.
Well, he got sealed, but I'm saying that like he would have had a plan better than this one. He would have been able to break the seal of the wise men to get into the Dark World.
I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but I think I guess that's a discussion for another time.
Well, I mean, we could, I think we could read the Ishinomori comic this time around. if you want
to. We can. That is a thing we can do. Yeah, sorry. So now that we've rescued this maiden, we can actually go and revisit the manga. Now that we've actually played areas that are once again mentioned within it. So let's go back and do that. It's in the private channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're in chapter 9 already.
We're in chapter 9 already. They just got done surviving an attack. Okay, so this will play really well for the fact that we haven't looked at this in a few weeks. But yeah, there was a whole issue at the Swamp Temple, or the Swamp Palace, where, you know, the whole light world versus dark world connection is made clear when the place starts flooding and they get into a big fight, and he escapes the fight. And
yeah, we're right above chapter 10.
We completely skip over the whole forest.
Because I remember we were joking about how Ephramelda was all like, oh my gosh, you never stop talking about Zelda, and leaves, and that's like right where we stopped.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So basically, Link, I think he was supposed to go to the Ice Temple, but he was like, nah, I'm going to go to the swamp. And then he went to the swamp, and then all that happened. And so now he's heading to the Ice Palace finally, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he does after we... Yeah. We're in
so I think we're the paragraph at the end of 9, and then we can go into 10.
Gotcha. All right, so he's heading to the wasteland currently. Yeah, I think we should start here. Okay, so it's like half a paragraph above, and I'll just read all the way to chapter 10. It says, Ephramelda, who cannot hear Zelda's calling, advises Link against going to the wasteland since it is too dangerous, and once they get in there will be no way to escape. She recommends that they go find the map first, but Link disregards her suggestion, for he claims that if the wasteland is as dangerous as she says, then he has to rescue Zelda as soon as possible. This angers Ephramelda, who claims Link never worries about her, and now all he ever talks about is Zelda, leading the fairy to indignantly leave Link's side. Now on his own, Link heads into the wasteland and stumbles into an oasis, from where Zelda is calling his name. The young hero ventures in and finds her, but as he remembers the maiden's words of Zelda being inside a turtle rock, the princess turns out to be an illusion made by a wizrobe, who promptly captures Link and conjures Vitreous from the swamp to devour him. Just then, a whirlpool is created that engulfs both Vitreous and the wizrobe, and from beneath, Zora appears to rescue Link. When the young hero asks Zora how he arrived and who told him where he was, Zora explains that Ephramelda had requested that he go rescue Link and that he is able to warp between worlds due to the presence of water.
So we learned that water's
a gateway between worlds, confirmed?
Yeah, it's very fluid between worlds.
But Zora can just do that?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Powerful, man. They got wisdom.
They got the wisdom. The Zora got the wisdom. Zora the Zola, remember?
Yeah, Zora the Zola.
They know how, man.
Huh.
Wizrobes are pretty strong in the comic compared to the game.
Yeah, in the game there's a bunch of wizrobes that we had to fight in this temple, and they were pretty pushovery. You just had to be in the right place at the right time, and you smack them once, and they were like, you got me.
Half of them can't even change a direction, so you could be right next to them, and they'll still be firing off in the wrong way.
Like, he's so fast.
And they for sure do not summon Vitreous. Vitreous gets conjured by a wizrobe.
That's a powerful wizrobe.
That wasn't even like Vitreous's plan. That was the wizrobe's plan. The fact that like just randomly a whirlpool comes up and he gets saved by a Zora is kind of interesting too. It's like some just straight up plot intervention going on.
Like, Link, you weren't supposed to be here. We told you to go follow Ephramelda, and now you just got captured. So I'm here. Get on with your journey to Turtle Rock. Go on now. So,
well, to Ice Tower first.
Yeah.
It's also kind of funny how Ephramelda's like, don't go that way. We got to go to get the map. And he's like, there's no way out if you go that way. And Link's like, forget it. I'm going that way because that's where I think Zelda is, right? But then Ephramelda leaves and goes and talks to Zora and is like, hey, can you go rescue Link when he inevitably gets trapped in that swamp?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because otherwise there's no way out. But there actually is way out as long as you help. So.
She knew.
That's funny.
It looks like we can read a little bit of the next paragraph too. If you want me to take a crack at it, or if Maya wants to.
You can go ahead.
So chapter 10. To Turtle Rock and Zelda. Reunited with Ephramelda, Link travels to the Ice Tower where they are confronted by Coldstone. Link reveals that all he wants is to see the map of the Dark World, but Coldstone mentions that the map is his greatest treasure and will not let anyone see it. The monster unleashes 2 Stalfos to attack Link, but when the young hero sees that they keep respawning even after defeating them, he begins to focus his power on the Master Sword, which causes the tower to begin to collapse. Coldstone warns Link that if he destroys the tower, then he will destroy the map as well, making him realize that the map is etched on the tower's floor. Before the tower collapses, Link learns the location of Turtle Rock and heads there along with Ephemeralda, where they begin to look for the dungeon's entrance. And that's probably where we should stop.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So Coldstone actually has like a conversation with Link, and it just occurred to me that Coldstone is the name of the ice cream shop. Because it's not Cold Stare in this comic, it's Coldstone.
Yeah, I thought it was Cold Stay.
But they kept with the 90s and they put the KH there.
They did keep it's Coldstone with a KH.
Getting some soft serve, some soft vitreous.
Ew.
What if Coldstone is just vitreous but frozen solid? Like a species of vitreous?
Delicioso.
It's an alternate. It's like the Blizz Alphos version of Armos, right?
Oh, the Freezor?
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
I've always called them Blizz Alphos, and I don't know why.
Blizz Alphos?
Makes more sense in my head.
That's like 3 enemies in one.
Well, it'd be way cooler it that way.
Oh no, sorry, Freezard.
Yes, the Freezards, yeah. Armos versus Freezards is vitreous to Coldstone. Something like that.
Yeah, so nothing much happens in this part. Link just goes to Ice Tower. Coldstone's all like, my map. And then Link's like, destroy tower. He's like, then you destroy map. Link's like, well, I'll look at it quick first then. Haha.
Tower's collapsing. Gotta do some orienteering real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Just figure out, looks like it's over in that corner of the room. All right, cool.
I only got a mild concussion from the debris falling.
Link just whips out a pen and paper and just goes...
Oh, yeah.
Just draws as quick as possible and remembers it. Because Link's just good at everything he tries.
Pulls out like the world's biggest piece of paper and runs the world's biggest pencil over it and creates like a
whole canvas.
A little graphite map. Yes, now I know where it is.
Coldstone's just staring.
He gets out a big wad of silly putty and just stretches it across the floor. And
yeah. Pulls out a bottle of like random slimes from the last dungeon.
Oh, goodness. All right. So now he's got his mission. He's got his way to go to Turtle Rock, which is pretty great.
Just exactly what we have to do.
Yeah. Before we end the episode, did either of you guys, just out of curiosity, have you gone back to the bomb shop since doing this dungeon, or did you do the dungeon and just stop?
Yes.
Yeah, the second one.
All right, cool. Do we want to talk about the bomb shop, or do you want to wait? Because I don't
know anything about it.
Okay, well, I guess that'll be my tip for you then. For before the next dungeon would be go to the bomb shop. There's some cool stuff to do there, and if you do it, the next dungeon will be easier. It's actually something you need to do to beat the game. But
can I noodle it?
You don't really. Oh, well, kinda. No, but I mean, it's something that you actually have to do to beat the game. Typically, I think there are ways to beat the game without this, but I don't know them. And I feel like normally you'd do it right before the last dungeon, but technically it is available right now. So if you want to do it now, it's just the most effective time.
Is it a little on your...
I don't know how to answer that.
Silver and gold.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty great. Just do it. Just go to the bomb shop.
You guys are spoiling it for me.
Yeah, go to the bomb shop. You don't know where that is? Figure it out. It's not the gossip shop, I can tell you that.
I've been there, done that, seen that, heard that.
This is what it do.
Cool. You either guys have anything else to add to this episode, or
nah? There's nothing in this part of the game, man. I got nothing.
we didn't even do anything, man.
It's pretty miserable.
Nothing.
Oh yeah, there's a couple skulls. There's a couple skulls you pick up, and there's those yellow things that turn you into bunnies. Fudge rounds.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Ain't nobody love bunny clouds.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call them.
I found out that if you use the Cane of Burna, it won't transform you, but it will just like hover around you. Like it'll just hover like kind of over top of Link as if it wants to transform you, but it can't until the Cane of Burna runs out. So you just have sparkles just on your character until you like leave the room or, eventually succumb to the bunny.
The bunny.
You must become the bunny.
I actually used the Cane of Burna a couple times in this dungeon to run over spikes and stuff.
Oh,
nice.
There
actually
I remembered I had it.
There was a switch for a key that you had to go over spikes to get to.
Yeah.
And Cane of Burna was one of the best ways to do that.
I could have used the Cane of Burna, but I just jumped on them and just got the key from the chest.
You just tanked it?
Yeah.
All right.
I forgot about the Cane of Burna, actually.
I always
and the
forget
magic
about
cape,
it.
too. Totally forgot about the magic cape.
Don't use items. That's what you have a health bar for. Be a man.
I mean, we have like almost 2 full rows of hearts at this point if you've been getting heart containers, so it's not like we need the hearts. The last time I needed the hearts was for Mothula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time or the second time? Tee.
Just first time. Because remember the second time I came in, I went
ham mode on.
Somersaulted his face into the ground. Let me introduce your face to the ground.
Suplex.
Hit him with a sandal.
And then in the left corner, Link, he has a chair. Down goes Mothula.
He's up on the spikes.
He's gonna do the flying goddess tornado.
Link's family.
Is this his family secret technique?
His uncle used this against Mothula in the 90s.
All right.
I think I'm done.
I think we're all done. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for listening. We had a great time recording. Hope you had a good time listening. We'll catch you on our next episode. Until then, if you want to reach out to us, you can at all of our regular links. Those will all be in the description as always. And hope you have a good few weeks. Catch you next time.
He said Link.
Did you get all that?
Figured out I have strep throat. So,
Oh, man.
nature said, what kind of sickness do you want? Do you want the worst one that you could ever get? Sure, I'll take that cold. Sounds great.
You want to feel like you're swallowing knives for a few days?
I started swallowing knives last Monday, and it didn't go away until about Thursday. At least the sore throat part. And then once the sore throat went away, I actually realized how much mucus was going back there, and gave me a headache since all weekend basically. Now I'm just getting rid of the cough essentially, but it's been a week and a half already.
Yikes.
I started taking natural medicine and it was working until I got the sore throat. Nothing helped it.
Man, see, I thought Florida was where you went to get away from stuff like strep throat.
You do. That when people from the north decide to come down here.
with their plague.
Who from the north would ever go down there?
Stay away from us. We live in paradise.
Come on, we're just stronger. We want to make you stronger.
I'm fighting my own battles down here.
Yeah, we don't gotta fight alligators up here.
I got a noodle for a living.
Did you guys appreciate that picture I put in Discord? Did you see it over on General? On 526.
The t-shirt.
Yeah, the t-shirt. The noodling t-shirt.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, you reacted to it, Fonz.
This fishing tackle is for wussies.
I saw that shirt and I was like, dude, before you go, can I take a picture of that? I think my friends would love that. And me too.
I love the snail that's just chilling on the thumb.
Yeah, his hand is pretty gnarly.
Yeah. Imagine gator noodling.
Gator noodling.
It would just be no hand.
I left that in the episode last time about the pen gator noodling. Even though I don't know if everybody knows what noodling is.
Well, they can look it up because it's totally fine. I don't know if they should try it, especially alligator noodling.
Yeah, probably not.
No.
Leave it to the trained professionals.
Snapping turtle noodling.
I've been to Gatorland. I saw one of them things eat a chicken. It's pretty extreme.
A chicon?
Yeah, like a whole, like you pick up from Tops, just take it to Gatorland and hang it off a stick, and they just jump out of the water and grab it, and it's...
Oh.
It's great. And they got a new one that was like, he's like 23 feet long or something like that.
Goodness.
So he's like the new star of the show.
Oh, I forgot it's Florida, so you don't have Tops. It'd be like Publix or something.
Publix, yeah.
It's an adventure.
Adventure time.